Music Scene Investigation is on the air. I'm here with you. My name is Rich Wildman. Glad to have you back, everyone. And it's going to be an interesting show today. We've got Mark Lamdansky from Worldwide Indie Radio joining us again this week. And we're still experiencing some ups and downs with bandwidth. So, Mark, are you there? How are things going for you?
I'm doing all right. Are you hearing me okay? Testing 1, 2, 3.
I'm hearing you fine right now, C3PO. So okay. Everything seems to be all right.
All right. Fingers crossed. No more problems. And when you said Mark Lamdansky is here again, it sounded like a bad thing.
No, not a bad thing at all. Okay. In fact, we're happy to have you with us, of course.
All right. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
And our other in-house panelist, of course, is always with us. Mr. Ian Husbands is here. I didn't say that like it was a bad thing, did I, Ian?
I was wondering.
Look, I know you don't need to say it to think it's make it sound like a bad thing.
It wasn't my intention to make it sound like a bad thing at all in any stretch of the word,
Well, just checking. It's been over 3 years now, Rich.
Yes, it has. Well, it's been over 4.
And I haven't missed a show.
Yeah, you have.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up. I think so.
Check it out. I don't think you'll find I've not missed a show.
I don't know. I'll have to look. I will look. I will.
Fine, you carry on looking.
I certainly will then. All right. Now on Music Scene Investigation, of course, we always bring new music to our viewers. You may like some of it, you may not, but I'll tell you one thing, you'll always stick around to hear what our panelist had to say about it. Of course, you've heard from our in-house panelist. I do want to go back to Ian for one thing before we introduce our guest panelist. I want to find out what the witness statements from last week said.
Well, you know what? Only one person voted last week, and they voted for song number 2. And we went for song number 3, so that's not a good result, really, on either planet.
No, it's not really. It's one of those things that happen every once in a while. But no, you're right. It's not right. A good thing.
The only one person that voted went, I don't agree with them. No, I'm going to have song number 2 instead.
It's their prerogative. Anyway, thanks for keeping track of those statistics for us, Ian, as always. Our guest panelist is a musician, a teacher, and, a great friend of MSI in general. She's been on the show a number of times with us. It's always a pleasure to welcome back Andrea Bensmiller. Andrea, how are you?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
It's great to have you back with us. How have things been going?
It's great to be back. I missed you guys.
Well, we missed you too, and I gotta say, I gotta be honest. Tommy probably misses you more than anybody in the world, and unfortunately, he's not here.
Yeah, I know. We used to Skype each other randomly during the day, but I'm not usually sitting at home in front of my computer now anymore. So
so you figured out a way around it.
Yeah. Well, I do enjoy his comments whenever I'm on, so I'll miss that today. But,
yeah, No, Tommy's a great guy. We wouldn't want to take anything away from him. He's one of those guys you just don't meet every day. That's the truth of it. So, Andrea, tell me, it's been a long time since we've had you on the broadcast with us. What have you been up to since the last time we had you on with us?
Well, as you guys know, but other people might not, I live in Vegas and there's a ton of music here. So I think the last time I was in a country band,
right?
If I remember right. And and I took a little bit of time off from playing live, and I'm now kind of hooking up with a couple other musicians who've been here forever, and we're putting together some cover stuff too. So that's been really great. And then long time ago, I think you guys might remember that too, I had auditioned for Cirque du Soleil to try to get into one of their productions, and that actually did come through this last year, but it was for a touring show. So unfortunately, I had to turn that down because I'm pretty much based here and I have a lot of students here, and I'm also taking care of my elderly parents. So, but it finally did actually come through, which was a nice, little bit of information this year.
Yeah. Now,
so
I know that working on remote shows or shows that are touring shows is a difficult thing. It's got to be. But, I got to imagine that for a show like Cirque, the audition process is probably just as grueling.
It's pretty long. It's you can start out by doing the remote auditions that they have a lot of information on their website about, which you basically submit videos and you try to get their attention via videos. And that's how I started it, really. I think my first audition was 6 years ago via video.
Wow.
And over time, you just kind of have to keep trying. And over time, they started to notice that I was also a bassist. And I finally got a live audition. Not last October, but the October before that. So it kind of tells you how long this whole thing can go.
That's an amazingly long time. There is no doubt about it. Now, one of the things you mentioned kind of struck me as interesting. They eventually found out you're a bassist. That leads me to believe that when you first auditioned, they thought you were something else?
I auditioned first as a vocalist.
Oh, okay.
And the process was a little different then. It was for the vocalist side, it was a little bit more like an acting audition, which I don't do well at all. So I don't blame them for completely passing on me about that. But later on, I submitted as a guitarist, and I actually got called for a show. There's a show called Zumanity, which features specifically a female guitarist. And so they asked me to video submit for that, and I did. And the one big problem for me was that they needed somebody who could also play flamenco, and I don't really play flamenco, so I didn't succeed in that part of the audition. And then so they passed on me and took somebody else. But in the process of that audition, I also let them know that I played bass and would be interested in auditioning as a bass player. So about 9 months after that, I guess, they called and said, would you mind coming in for a live audition on bass? And I did. And then at the end of that audition, they said to me, well, we're putting you in what's called their potentials database, which means basically you're on their radar and they're kind of waiting for a position that suits you. And you can wait a very long time.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is, So yeah, just about a month and a half ago, they sent word that they were interested in seeing me for the very last. You still have to do a last final audition because if you can imagine, it's been 2 years since they've seen me play.
Right.
So they then ask you to again submit a video with some specific requirements. And if you can pass that one, then you're, in consideration. So
this whole process has been going on for now over 2 years. You've submitted multiple video auditions, in-person auditions. I mean, is this, I guess, the question that many artists may want to know, is this a typical kind of audition for a Vegas type show?
For a show as big as Cirque, yes. Not for other shows. They might be simpler. But I think you'll find if you want to really be a player, if you go out into the professional world, the audition process can be very long, and it's a large pool of people. So you have to be the right person for them. So they're going to take their time and find out as much about you as they can. There's also some requirements in terms of your skills. Reading is actually a requirement in the Cirque auditions.
Yeah.
So, and the interesting thing about that for me is I'm not a trained bass player. I'm kind of a trained myself bass player. So I actually kind of learned to read for my live audition. And so that was a little bit of extra work for me to do that. To read on bass, but it was a requirement. I really wanted it, so I worked for that. But yeah, it kind of depends. Depends on the project.
Right. I can imagine. How difficult that must have been. I mean, obviously, reading music for any kind of instrument is an undertaking if you haven't done it. Even if you are skilled at it and learning it for another instrument, it can be a very difficult thing, and very easily done. So the fact is that going from one instrument to another is not an easy prospect in any case.
No, for sure.
All right.
Sure.
So the Cirque auditions are out of the way. You've decided to stay in Vegas, and you're working on some new projects.
Yeah, I'm working with a couple guys here who have been in the scene for a long time. We've actually passed each other in other bands. One of them is a loop artist by the name of Phil Stendek. He's really a incredible musician. He sets up loops on guitar and bass and keyboards, and then he plays drums and sings to it. So we've crossed paths a couple times, and we're the kind of people like we like the same kind of music. I was telling you a little bit about we rehearse the same way, which means not a lot. We are comfortable being on stage and throwing things around, saying, "Oh, here we're going here now, and we're going there next," and everybody doing their job, and not we don't need to spend 3 months rehearsing a band. So we were playing a little bit together and trying to get some stuff going on. So,
all right. Any timelines when we can expect to see you out playing gigs out live?
I'm not sure. Maybe, I'll be in Ian's neck of the woods in June. I'm going to London for a wedding the end of June.
Really?
So maybe when I get back, we'll have something together by then.
Maybe we can hook up.
Yeah. That would be fun.
How long are you over for?
About 2.5 weeks.
Oh, I'm sure we can find a time in there we can hook up and say hi.
Yeah, we'll try for sure.
I'll take you for an English cup of tea, darling.
Oh, I would love that. I love English tea.
Of course, Ian's going to say something along the lines of, well, of course you love English tea. That's the only kind of tea there is worth drinking.
I like English pubs, too.
We can do English pubs. What you need to do is you need to make a Thursday night free and come and join me at my jam night.
Oh, okay, cool. That can be possible.
That could be quite cool. Come down and play some bass or guitar or swing from a trapeze or something.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Everybody's going to be able to go over and get to see and meet Ian in person except me. So, Mark, when are you going over to London to meet Ian, by the way?
I would be going to London, but the reason why I'm not is because of Ian. No.
The letter was in the post then, yeah? You got it?
I would love to go to London. I don't know. Maybe after I win the lottery.
All right, fair enough. And if you win the lottery, you're taking me with you. I don't care what anybody says.
Okay. All right.
I think I have a hotel room. I know.
No, it's happening. It's going to happen.
I think I have a suitcase large enough.
Yeah, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I'm a small guy. I can fit inside a suitcase. That's not a problem. All right, we have some great music up on today's show for everybody to take a listen to. So let's start that right now by starting up with song number 1 on the broadcast today. So here it is, everyone. Take a listen to this one. This is song number 1 on today's Music Scene Investigation.
Train tracks led me far away. They put holes in the shoes my mama made. Took her heart with me by mistake. But I think about her every single day. Lord, take me home to Raleigh. Let that river wash away my sins. Lord, take me home to Raleigh. Let me see my loving girl again. Well, my backpack, I filled it with regret now. But I'm too far gone for redemption. Her spirit, it sinks at sunset. But in her daydreams we slow dance again. Lord, take me home to Raleigh. Let that river wash away my sins. Lord, take me home to Raleigh. Let me see my loving girl again.
There you have it, song number 1 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Let's find out what the panelists thought about this track. Let's go over to Ian and get his opinion of it. Ian, what do you think of track number 1?
What a nice start to the show. I mean, that sort of bluegrass country feel. I really like it. Love the production. It's so open and uncompressed and natural. And of course, you know, with the genre that they're trying to put off, that is what it should be. The addition of the fiddle and that stand-up bass against the banjo and the acoustic guitar worked really, really nicely. I did feel it did be picky. The acoustic guitar was a little bit muddy. Could have done with a bit more shine on it. And the male vocal, again, I felt that was muddy and not back in the mix. I wanted to hear that up a little bit. Nice addition of the female vocalist as well, just to bring that in on the chorus and stuff. Everything's working. You know, is there a market for this sort of stuff these days? Certainly not over here in the UK, but I'm sure there is a market for it in other places. You know, songwriting wise, the arrangement was pretty safe, but again, for the genre, it works. Lyrically, again, it works. Everything there is right. I would just fine tune that mix a little bit and get them vocals standing above that banjo, especially.
All right, Ian, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let's go over to Mark Lamdansky and find out what he thought about it. Mark, what do you think about track number 1?
Yeah, that was a real toe tapper. I was enjoying that. I don't get to hear a lot of bluegrass, and whenever I do have that chance, I was very, happily surprised with this song. It was, I did hear, I don't know if it was purposeful or not, but I think I heard the banjo kind of muff up a bit at the beginning. It got more into, an even beat as the song went on. The vocals, yeah, need a little bit of work. I think that, I don't know, was there some additional harmonies in the back during the chorus? Did you hear that, Ian?
There was a female vocalist came in.
Right, but was there I thought I heard,
I think there was one more.
Yeah, I heard in the background some additional harmonic vocals during the chorus, and but that's the thing, is I think I heard it. I wasn't sure it was there. Didn't know if I was imagining it. If it was there, it needs to be brought up more to hear it. I think it would have added a little bit more depth to the chorus of the song. But overall, I enjoyed it, and good job on that.
All right, Mark, thank you. By the way, Pinky is telling me in the chat room, yeah, you weren't imagining things. That actual voice you heard was there.
Oh, good.
So there you are. You're not crazy, Mark.
It wasn't the imported weed from Colorado.
No,
Good.
no. It was
it's the voices in your head.
All right.
All right, over to Andrea Bensmiller. Andrea, what do you think about track number 1?
Yeah, I pretty much have the same thing to say. Country is big here, and bluegrass is big here, and I've been in a lot of bands, and this sounded just like all the stuff that people have told me to learn. It's really authentic. The mix is well done. It's well played. It sounds exactly like it's supposed to for the style. I thought I liked the harmonies. I like the vocal. In bluegrass, you're talking about vocals that can be a little bit, less perfect than in other styles, and it's kind of a notable thing about bluegrass that I actually really like. I thought it had that sound, I like the balance in the mix. Nice present bass. I didn't really hear anything that I think I would dramatically nitpick about. I really thought it was great. In terms of markets, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that in the States goes really, well in the South. It does really well in some of the West Coast states like Nevada. It's also probably perfect for film and TV licensing. You're going to find a lot of those kind of period TV things that might need something like this. So yeah, I thought it was great. I think it's really well done. It was a nice start to the show. I can't really come up with anything that I would want to, rip it apart about. So, and that's saying something. So.
All right, good enough. I appreciate that, Andrea. Thank you very much. Let me introduce that track to everybody. The name of this track, well, it's called Raleigh, and it's by a group called Fox Blossom, and we appreciate Fox Blossom sending that track into Music Scene Investigation. If you'd like your song in front of the panel, it's easy to do. Go to MusicSceneInvestigation.com and click on the Submit a Song button at the top of the page, and the rest of it's pretty easy from there. It's pretty self-explanatory. 2 more songs, everybody. Second song coming up for you, so let's take a listen to that right now. Here it is, everyone. This is song number 2 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Enjoy it, everyone. And there you have song number 2 on today's MSI. Let's go over to Mark Lamdansky, find out what he thought about it. Mark, song number 2 over to you, sir.
Oh, wow. You know, I'm going to try to be as diplomatic as possible. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Let's put it this way. I think that the song itself, the writing, you know, the and all that has potential. And I think the bad thing that I have to say is if it was done by somebody else. First of all, I think the only real thing about that song was the guitar. Everything else was computerized, MIDI. You know, okay, the vocals were real, and that's unfortunate.
I'll bet you $20 that the guitars were MIDI as well.
Oh. Really? You think?
Yeah.
It sounded real to me, but you know, I guess it's possible. I liked the writing. I liked the melody had some potential to it. It needed a little bit more to it, maybe a good bridge. But I just didn't like the way it was mixed. The guitar was too loud in spots. I lost the voice completely in some areas. Because all I heard was the guitar over it. But I don't know. I think I have to leave it at that. Unfortunately, I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry.
It's quite all right. Quite all right, Mark. I appreciate your thoughts on that. And let's go to Andrea Bensmiller, find out what she thought. Andrea, what do you think about track number 2?
Yeah, there's a lot to say here. First of all, I really like stuff that's retro and classic and, you know, kind of harkens back to that kind of period in the 60s that was really all about this kind of music. There's not much about this track though that has real punch, or you know, it's kind of stagnant. The bass part and the rest of the parts are pretty redundant. There's not a whole lot going on in terms of changes in the sections, and the mix is really a little bit off too. I mean, there's a lot of bass. There's you know, a little bit of keyboards and a little bit of guitar, and the vocals are pulled back. I think obviously because this person is not a terribly good singer. And the only thing I have to say about that doesn't necessarily mean you can't sing, because there's plenty of stuff out there that has character by people who aren't great vocalists. But I can tell you as a vocal coach and as a singer that vocal quality and this singing quality has been massively bumped up in the business. And so if you're not a singer, then you need to get some help, because when you go into a studio, what you're going to hear is all the flaws, and this is very flawed. It's pitchy. There's no what we call support, like there's no guts to the vocal, it doesn't have anything underneath it, and I think that was the obvious reason that they pulled it back in the track, and that makes it very difficult to understand. It may have made it easier on the ears, but it doesn't do much for the hook of the song, right? It's not a bad idea. It's not well executed, I think, and so it could be salvaged with some work and some more musicianship and with some real effort towards getting better.
All right, Andrea, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Now to Ian Husbands and his thoughts. Ian, track number 2, sir.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the guys have summed it up. I mean, I was quite impressed. They're MIDI everywhere. I think everything on this besides the vocals was MIDI, even the guitars. And, some of the performance parts with that MIDI were really, really good. From an arrangement point of view of the instrumentation, I like the bass line, I like some of the guitar parts. There was some good stuff going on. The mix was all over the place. Drums were distant and muddy. Guitar was too loud. Bass was too loud in places. And that vocal was just shoved right back in that mix. And I think, Andrea's probably hit the nail on the head. That's probably done because the person who sung it realised it wasn't as great as it could have been. Again, vocalists needs to pick up their game quite a lot. There was no feeling in that delivery. It was just delivered, and it wasn't delivered that well. I mean, don't be afraid. I don't really agree with overuse of auto-tune these days, and try not to do it myself. But, you talk to any of the producers these days, and they'll tell you that they auto-tune everything. Even to the point of some people now auto-tuning strings, because we are so conditioned to hearing things bang on all the time with the way the pop charts and that are. Don't be afraid of using it. Just use it subtly and use it well. But make sure you go back and get a great, the best performance that you possibly can out of you before you go down that line. This would be better with real instrumentation, real drums, real guitar, real bass. There's a good song waiting here to have some love and care put to it by, as Andrea said, people with a higher level of musicianship. And again, don't be afraid to go out and find another singer if that's not your craft. There's plenty of people out there, websites like iCompositions.com, Compose.com, Mac Jams, and various other ones, where you can go out and meet people online who will gladly do your vocals for you, however you need them doing.
All right, Ian, I appreciate your thoughts on that as well. The name of this song, along with the artist, are as follows. The name of the song is called Heart of America. It's by Moon Music. I think the other Moon was put in there just as an emphasis, but MoonMusicMoon, we appreciate you sending that track to Music Scene Investigation. And I want to take a second and give Mark just a moment to tell us what's coming up on Twitter Tuesday Live this week over on Worldwide Indie Radio. Mark, what is happening this Tuesday?
Well, thank you for putting me on the spot like that.
Of course.
No, actually, I'm looking forward to it. We have McKenna Lauren joining us this week. It's going to be a lot of fun. She's a great musician. We have several of her songs on rotation. We're glad to finally have her on. We have coming up some awesome musicians, a lot of returning ones, a lot of new ones coming. If you guys are out there not listening to the show, you don't know what you're missing out on, and you can tune in here at Music Scene Investigation Radio, MSI Radio, to hear it. And so do it. Check us out Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. I appreciate that. We have one last song for everybody to take a listen to, so if you're ready to do that, I'm ready to get it out there for everyone. This is song number 3 on today's MSI, everybody. Enjoy it. Here we go.
I got you, baby. It's no question. I proved it right. If you looking for the light, then I move the night. I know you still gotta get used to the light. International, I do the flight. But when I touch down, the mood is right. I'ma lace you up and your shoes are tight. Girl, I know you never been a bougie type. Drug free, you don't even smoke doobies, right? That's cool. Mama ain't raised a fool. You got a bachelor and you still in school. That's deep. Keep game, I be in the streets. I'm trying to get a piece of the P. I be what I be. NYC zone, I'm in the zone. Watch the track get bust like silicone. Hit me on the phone, it's the big dog. I might be gone, but I'm coming home.
Even though we gone through some things, girl, you gotta know my love remains. Oh girl, you know I got you. Don't just be coming my way. Baby girl, my love will always stay. Oh girl, you know I got you.
Baby girl, my favorite girl, let's go. We can get faded, girl. These haters hate, they saving face. They can't take how the players play. I be OT getting it. This is how I'm living, kid. Ice in my chain and the gold piece glistening. Work towards the top, positioning myself, conditioning my mind. Dripping with the wealth, I'm a wealth for G-code, sticking to my belt. Baby, you know I get it from the shelf. Ain't that fine and dandy, my lines are handy. I turn these dimes to candy. And your heart, I can nurture it. Arch your back, show me what you're working with. Girl, it's a done deal. It's a wrap, tied up, sealed.
Even though we gone through some things, girl, you gotta know my love remains. Oh girl, you know I got you. Don't just be coming my way. Baby girl, my love will always stay. Oh girl, you know I got you. Even though we gone through some things, girl, you gotta know my love remains. Oh girl, you know I got you. Don't just be coming my way. Baby girl, my love will always stay. Oh girl, you know I got you.
There you have track number 3 on today's music scene investigation. We'll start this round out with Andrea. Andrea, track number 3 over to you. What do you think about it?
You know, I really like the song. I like the composition. There were so many good things about this. Good rapper, really good rapper. Tight. I like it. It's commercial. It's marketable. It sounds, you know, like everything that's out there. It still has its own kind of character. It's a little bit old fashioned. It feels a little bit like the R&B and rap that came out of the, you know, late 90s to me, but I like that. I've always liked it. So it's not necessarily a downside. The hook was there. The you know, the groove was there. I like the production. I don't like the mix at all. The mix to me was hard to listen to. First of all, it's super hot. I think all of us had to turn down, but I also lost a lot of the ability to actually listen to it at the level that I wanted to because, you know, it was just so hot coming on. It's kind of tinny at the top, you know, the cymbals and the hats, and even in the vocal, the everything above 2K is just kind of amped, and so it made it very unpleasant to listen to that part. Obviously, when you're mixing, you can get a lot more low end without killing people's ears than you can on those higher end frequencies, and that was really kind of unfortunate. Yeah, I think if you could get, you know, a much better mix out of this, maybe a little bit less busyness in the arrangement. There were times it seemed like there was way too much going on. The vocal was pretty upfront for my taste, and that made there was a harmony that was just a little bit pitchy, just a little bit. And we're trying to remember that when you're doing vocals in the studios, that little bit of pitchy is something that will really sound present if you pull those vocals forward. So the vocals were a little upfront for me, especially on the sung chorus part. But I think it's a good song. It's a good composition. It has a nice hook, and I can totally hear it getting mixed in one of those summer jams at the pool. So yeah, I really liked it. I liked it a lot. Mix needs work.
All right, Andrea, thank you very much. Let's head over to Ian and get his thoughts. Ian, track number 3, sir.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew's really hit the nail on the head. Really like the vocals. The guy's tight on his rapping, and I love that sort of break into that more sort of soulful R&B style of singing on the choruses. Nice dynamics on it from the point of view of the writing, good hook. But that mix is all over the place. The top end is just... first of all, it sounds like it's been dealt a heavy blow of compression. Even to the point of I was hearing a distortion on that top end. Not just that it was badly EQ'd and very harsh, but it was actually distorting slightly as well on the speakers. And that synth that was just rolling in those random notes up and down constantly throughout the song really started to grate and get on my nerves. It sounded, as the song went on and built, it sounded like compression artifacts that you hear on speakers and stuff like that, sort of creeping on there, sort of little digital artifacts you hear in the sound occasionally. And because it was constantly there, it was really, really off-putting from the point of view. And where was the bass? It must have been all sat in the sub, because I was getting nothing through from a point of view of a bass line. I heard the occasional note mixed in with the kick drum, which was nice and present. But that bass itself, there was no clarity to it. It was just all swamping out the bottom end. As Andrew said, there is a really good song here, a really commercial song here, but the mix really does need some attention. And from the point of view of check that synth out a little bit, it's too much, too often, and, use it as an effect rather than constantly throughout the song.
All right, Ian, thank you very much. Now, of course, Mark Lamdansky has something to say as well. Mark, song number 3, sir.
Yeah, I'm not a huge... I'm not a very big fan of rap. I've kind of taken to it over the last few years, but still I avoid it as, usually. But there are times when, makes my eyebrow kind of raise up and say, hey, this isn't so bad. And this was one of those songs. I enjoyed it. I can't, I'm not going to go over and hash everything that Andrea and Ian said again, other than to say I agree with the tinny part of it. And there was just too much going on in spots of the song. The guy did a very good job with the rapping. We at Worldwide Indie Radio, we don't have a lot of rap songs on rotation for the reasons I've described earlier. But this is certainly one that, after some improvements to the mix were completed and some of that compression taken away and that tinniness disappears, we would add that to our rotation without a problem.
All right, Mark, I appreciate your thoughts as well. The name of this track for everybody is called Got You, and it's by PMatic. And PMatic, we appreciate you sending that track in to Music Scene Investigation. Thank you very much. Now then, Andrea, Ian, and Mark, the task falls to you on making a decision of Song of the Week. So I leave it to you. Let you make your choice and just let me know what you think.
Well, ladies first. Mark?
Oh, thanks.
Sorry, what?
Ladies first, Mark. Thanks a lot. Are you saying Andrea's not a lady? Wait a minute.
No, I'm saying.
Oh, believe me, I'm not.
Oh.
Andrea prefers to be known as one of the lads.
You can't be a lady and survive in this business.
Well, if it's really being thrown out at me first, I'm. It's kind of difficult. I liked number 1 and I like number 3. I like number 1 for what it was. The bluegrass, and it's unusual. Don't get to hear very much of it. I think it needed a lot more work on the mix. I don't know comparatively if it needs more work than number 3 does, but I think as far as commercial songs go, I think number 3 fits the bill much better, and I'm going to go with number 3.
All right, Mark, thank you. Ian and Andrea, what do you think?
Andrea, where would you like to see this week going? Besides down the pub to have a large
I think we had this problem the last time I was on. I'm so torn because, frankly, I like number 3. The music of number 3 I like better. Frankly, I'm a big rap fan. I'm a big R&B fan. I like modern music. I like bluegrass, but not as much. I'm an urban kid, so I like the song better. The mix was just too off, I think, for me to choose. If we're looking at overall everything across the board, production quality, mix, amount of time spent on those things, I kind of have to choose number 1 because though it may be simpler to produce, they nailed it. They totally nailed it. It was, start to finish, it was a lot closer to perfect, and I tend to pick things that way. So that's my caveat. I'm going to choose number 1, but I'm going to say I much would have preferred to have chosen number 3.
All right, makes sense. Ian, make a decision, my friend.
I'm going to have to side with my Las Vegas friend, I'm afraid. Sorry, Mark. And go with Andrea because she's right. It is the best presented song here today as a total package. It needs less work on the mix. The song's there and the song's good. The sound's there. The production's there. It's just a few tweaks on that mix. That third song, as great as it is, that mix on that top end, I couldn't listen to that many more times and enjoy it. Whereas that bluegrass one, I could sit back and listen to that again and again without it being a major issue. So number 1 for me.
All right, well, there you have it then. The song of the week is from Fox Blossom, their song called Raleigh. And, of course, we want to know what you think. I would have had the button up on screen, however, it broke. So go to musicsceneinvestigation.com/witness. Fill out your witness statement. Let us know what you think. Andrea, thanks so much for being here. We're going to have you on more often, I think.
Yeah, thanks for having me, you guys. It's been great. So I'll be happy to come back anytime.
Well, how about next week? She thinks I'm kidding, but I'm not. We'd be happy to have you back anytime you want to come on. Just come on in. Come on in.
All right. I'll knock on the door.
That'll be fine. You don't even have to knock. Just barge in. It's fine. It's perfect. And Mark, of course, we want to thank you for sitting in for Tommy as well. We really appreciate you doing that. And we'll see you next week along with Ian. And
of course, it's a pleasure.
I certainly hope that everybody out in the chat room and in our viewing audience joins us again next week. We'll do it all over again with 3 new songs in front of our panel. And we certainly hope to see you then. So until then, everybody, so long. And we'll play out with Raleigh by Fox Blossom here on Music Scene Investigation. Thanks for being with us, everybody.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Train tracks led me far away. They put holes in the shoes my mama made. Took her heart with me by mistake. But I think about her every single day. Lord, take me home to Raleigh. Let that river wash away my sins. Lord, take me home to Raleigh. Let me see my loving girl again. Well, my backpack, I filled it with regret now. But I'm too far gone for redemption. Her spirit, it sinks at sunset. But in her daydreams we slow dance again. Lord, take me home to Raleigh. my sins.